What is up, guys? TekTale here, Blitzstreak Live, bringing you another episode of TekTale Tuesdays, the segment where I tell you guys a tale, and you guys sit down and listen to my story. In today's episode, we will not be focusing on Shotgun Warrior. In today's episode, we're going to be going back to talking about Blitzstreak, the guy that started this entire series off. And if you guys don't know who Blitzstreak is, he is my Transformers character. And just to say some stuff real quick, I know some of you new subscribers don't know what TekTale Tuesdays is, and you guys have just seen TekTale Tuesdays last Thursday because I put it out late. And some of you guys asked me, where do you get these stories from? And just to let all of you guys know, I come up with all of these stories from my head. This is all from my imagination, and I like to create my own characters and their storylines. I have a good chunk of stories about a bunch of different things, like Ratchet & Clank was one of my favorite games on the PSP when I played Size Matters. I used to play online a lot, and I came out with my own character, and I can tell you guys about that in a future TekTale Tuesdays. But in today's episode, we're going to be talking about Blitzstreak, and over the course of the next few episodes, it's going to be kind of like a little mini-series of Blitzstreak. So, in this story, we're going to be talking about how Blitzstreak had left the Decepticons, and as some of you know, he has a best friend named Stealthfang, who is a fembot, and these two went off to be basically rogue Decepticons because they didn't agree with how Megatron was trying to take over Cybertron and everything, and how he was trying to return it to a different, how he's trying to change Cybertron in his own image. So when they leave the Decepticon base, they have to find another base, and they do find another base, and this base is it's pretty old. It's all like rickety and stuff, and they have to make with what they have. And as you guys know, every Decepticon and Autobot needs Energon to live. So they need to find a way to try and get Energon. And the only really way they can think of at first is, the Insecticons. And what I mean by the Insecticons is the Insecticons lay thousands and thousands of eggs, and not all these Insecticons can watch over all of these eggs. So they come up with this idea, and they make this little thing that extracts Energon. It's kind of like a needle, I guess, like when you get a shot and how they take blood. It's basically like that, except it's a lot bigger, and it puts the Energon in these containers. Well, Blitzstreak goes to these nests, and Stealthfang is a lookout, but she's a lookout back at the base because they came up with this little, I guess, mechanism. And if you guys played Fall of Cybertron campaign, the cliff jumper level, when you're going through all the vents, those little spider looking things with the eyeball and the 3 legs, and if you melee them, they die in one hit, and they're not really enemies, and they have like a little one eye. Well, they make stuff like that, except it's a lot smaller, so it can keep watch. Well, Stealthfang just keeps watch over it, and make sure none of these Insecticons are showing up. So Blitzstreak sits there and he extracts all this Energon, and there's also bug juice with this, so when they go back to the base, they have to purify this Energon, and they give it out to each other in portions and everything, and they make a bunch of trips over to the nest and stuff, and they get their their stock of Energon, and they have to purify it because it's from the Insecticons and everything. And what they do is they take like all the bug juice out and they just make it like a pure cube of energy, and that's how they are living as of currently, because this is still taking place during the fall of Cybertron, and Megatron is still trying to do what he does. So eventually it kind of gets old, and Blitzstreak says to himself, well, he also talks to Stealth Fang, and he's like, we need to find a new way to get Energon, because this is getting, a bit ridiculous. We're making so many trips to the Insecticon nest and everything, so we need to find a way to get more Energon. And they came up with a way after thinking for a while, and they thought about Megatron, and he thinks like, well, they need Energon to survive too, and they have a huge number of Decepticons, so that means they must have a huge number of Energon in storage. So they make multiples of these cameras that they have, and since Blitzstreak was an old Decepticon, he knows the base and everything, and he finds these secret routes. Well, in these secret routes, he goes and he puts the cameras in places where the storage of the Energon is, and he keeps watch over it, and they just keep watching as they store the Energon in there when it's not being watched, and they time everything out perfectly to where they know how long it's going to take to get over to the base, how long it's going to take to sneak into there, and then get the Energon and get out. So they do this. Once again, Stealth Fang is the lookout, and Blitzstreak is, the one that's getting all this, because he doesn't want anything happening to his best friend and everything. And, he figures, if something happens to me, maybe you can continue instead of the both of us dying, and I can, fend them off a little bit better and everything, because I'll just blind them and kill them. So, he successfully gets all the Energon and everything, and he stores it, and he takes it back to his base and everything, and then they have Energon for a good chunk of time, and they just occasionally visit the base and take the Energon, just being like, thanks Megatron, we're just taking some Energon, even though you don't know about it. Well, later Megatron does notice that there is some Energon missing, and his first thought is, I don't know what's going on here, but I bet someone is, stealing this Energon from me, and they've got to be, here. They must be working for me. His initial thought is, it's probably Starscream, but then he's like, wait a minute, it can't be Starscream, because Starscream wouldn't be, that stupid. Which, Starscream probably would do it anyway. So, he tries to force some information out of some of his Decepticon warriors. They come up with nothing, and he just kills them, because he's just like, you liar. And for a little while it stops, and he's just like, okay, well, I guess we eliminated the problem. Well, then later he sees that Energon is still missing from the base, and this is right before Megatron goes on his search for the Dark Energon and everything. So it's like right before where he's trying to plan to find it and stuff. So he still has a bunch of Energon for the regular Energon. Blitzstreak continues to take this Energon and everything, and he learns how to harness this power, and he also learns to where he can kind of not like overload his system, but he can, like, instead of having like 100%, he learns how to like put it up to 200%, to where he can just constantly absorb this Energon, because he has that gift of how he emits the energy from himself. So he like learns how to do that. He also has that that molecular proton cannon. I think that's what I call it, molecular proton cannon. And he learns how to do that, and he absorbs the Energon into himself, to where he just like makes the gun completely like ridiculously powerful, and he can just like obliterate anything. That is about it for this episode of TekTale Tuesdays, guys. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I know this is just the beginning of this Blitzstreak series, but I've got to leave you guys with a cliffhanger, because otherwise you would just be like, okay, it's done, I'm not gonna watch anymore. So I got to keep you guys coming back for more. But anyway, guys, I hope that you like it, so please give me a like, give me a comment. I love your feedback, especially on TekTale Tuesdays. Spread the word about the channel and everything, and we can all stay up to beat together. But until next time, guys, Tek Knight 2 is